Hey everybody, Vinyl Chef Steve here. For those of you who are intimidated by kneading dough the old-fashioned way with your hands, I'm going to go ahead and try it for the first time here live and see how difficult it really is or how easy it really is. I'm sure it's not simple, but it requires more work than using a stand-up dough mixer or a food processor. But I just finished a New York pizza recipe on YouTube. You'll see that if you subscribe. And that involves making the pizza dough with a KitchenAid stand-up mixer with the dough hook attachment. And it's as simple as adding the ingredients into the mixing bowl, flipping the switch, and waiting about 7 minutes. And basically little or no kneading required. This is going to be a whole different ballgame. So we're going to try it today, and this way, if it's something that you think you really want to try and you don't have a KitchenAid, you can attempt it the way I'm going to attempt it, and then follow the rest of the recipe in my other video. For the fermentation times and everything else is the same. The pizza sauce is in that video as well as the rest of the process, the baking time and the finished product. So all the ingredients are in that video as well. Same ingredients we're going to be using today for this recipe. It involves 470 grams of 00 flour, unbleached, and it involves 285 grams of ice water. We also have about a half a teaspoon of dried yeast, 9 grams of kosher salt you'll need, also 25 grams of white sugar, and about 22 grams of good olive oil. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and give this a try. You're gonna see firsthand what I've not seen yet myself. So what we'll do is we're gonna take all of our ingredients here. We'll start with our flour. Just grab a good sized mixing bowl and get your flour in there. And we're going to add our dry ingredients first. So we'll sprinkle in our 25 grams of white sugar, our 9 grams of kosher salt, our half a teaspoon here of dried yeast. Make sure you always check the expiration dates on those yeast packages. We're going to put in our olive oil now. And that is 21 grams of olive oil. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and add our moisture, our water, 285 grams of ice cold water. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and get this all mixed together with our hands, stir it around. It's going to be a real sticky mess, but this is how they do it for real in the real pizza world before they had stand-up mixers. I can already see that this is really sticking to my hands a lot, but we'll just get all the ingredients incorporated and scrape the sides of the bowl to get as much of it out as we can. And then we'll bring it out onto our working surface. Isn't that lovely? So from here, we're going to start kneading the dough. We're just going to knead it, I guess, for up to, I've heard up to 15 minutes. If you're good and you're strong, maybe 5 minutes. I also heard that you do this. Fold it over, turn it a quarter, slap it down, turn it over, turn it a quarter, slap it down again, turn it over, another quarter. You're trying to elongate the dough. Oh, there goes a piece over there. Turn it over, another 45-degree angle. This method of picking up the dough and stretching it out, slapping it down on your work surface is just a technique to help develop the glutens, and you'll see that I do it throughout. Fold it over like that. I don't know how many times I'm supposed to do this, but the object is to eventually, the cutting board's going away from me. You just keep kneading the dough, pushing it away, turning it a quarter each time until you get your dough will eventually come together. I'm trying to develop the gluten right now, I guess. Turn it, slap it down, push it out, turn it. Sticky dough, that's for sure. Just keep on kneading it. About this time, I'm starting to breathe a little heavier than normal. It's been about 2 minutes and the dough is coming together slowly. It's still rather sticky, but you can tell the glutens are developing. We'll continue to knead. Our dough is starting to come together, so we'll go ahead and try the transparency test after we get it rolled into a ball here. So then when you do this, you're pushing down, trying to stretch the dough so you get a nice smooth surface on the top. And then pinch a piece of the dough off like that, and apparently you can stretch a piece of the dough so thin without it tearing. The gluten is developed well. I think we still have a little work to do here. It wants to play rough, so we have to really, it's a very So this process is to develop the glutens, which is what gives your dough the elasticity and the stretchiness. You can also lightly dust your work surface to keep the dough from sticking as you see it doing here, but I opted for the less cleanup method, which is a little bit riskier, but nevertheless a lot less cleanup because flour likes to fly everywhere. Bit of a workout. I can eat some more pizza without feeling guilty. All right, we're just gonna keep kneading it here. Am I breaking a sweat yet? All right. Okay, let's see. Let's see how we're doing now. We're at 7 minutes total time kneading the dough. Straighten out my, am I breathing heavy? Shit. Whew. All right. So that's a bit of a vigorous activity right there. Have I said yet that KitchenAid is a really good investment? So yeah, here we go. I think we're getting to that stage. Yeah, that's what they want. See that? That's developed gluten. I don't know if you can see that, but it's thin. Yeah. So we successfully reached the stage where the stretch test proves that our gluten has been developed. The piece of dough that we tear off stretches thin enough to be able to see through without tearing. Again, you're just pushing down on the sides slightly stretching the dough so that the top becomes nice and tight and shiny. Notice I haven't floured my hands at all through this process. So getting a nice consistency of the dough feels really good. All right, so I think that's good. So you want to be able to touch your dough and watch it spring back. Oh, wow, I think I did a really good job. Even though I'm breathing heavy and perspiring a little bit because I've got a sweatshirt on here. But yeah, that was actually pretty fun, but very involved, let's say. So now, this ball is going to go into the fridge for at least overnight. I like to let my pizza dough rest for literally on the 4th day is when I like to bake my pizza. That's when it develops the best crust. So for now, you're going to find a nice storage vessel, and you're going to grease up the sides of the bowl all the way in the bottom. Nice little happy home for our abused ball of dough here. Okay, so this just comes off the board, goes into the bucket. There it is. It's going to rest in there, proofing, fermenting, developing flavors. It goes into the fridge, where I will proceed, after resting, of course, to make some pizza this Sunday morning. Or Sunday afternoon, I'm sorry. Thanks for watching this episode of Vinyl Chef Steve and my first ever by hand pizza dough kneading session. I'm gonna go take a shower now. There's a piece of dough that won't make it into the pizza. It is quite a bit messier than the mixers, machines, and so forth, but so much more rewarding.